welcome. My name is Amber. Alright, thanks for coming in today, guys. So, you are...
Kristen.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. And then, are you the grandmother?
Yes.
Okay, and your name is? Okay, nice to meet you. And you are?
I'm Olivia,
Olivia and sister. Okay, thank you so much. Now, I know we talked a little bit before about what you're paying for. And you mentioned that there were some child care concerns, and you're facing your second deployment. So could you kind of elaborate what are your concerns?
Sure. Last time that I was deployed for 8 months, my son Andre stayed with his grandmother, and that seemed to work out well, but I'm getting ready to go again, and she just seems upset, like she doesn't want to watch him, be responsible for him, and I don't want to put that on her either, and so I just feel concerned. It's a big responsibility. I could be gone for up to a year, so.
Yeah. What are some of your concerns in regard to the deployment and child care?
I have a chronic lung condition, and I feel like there are times when maybe I won't be able to keep up with him because this time he is a lot more active than he was the first time when she left. So it's going to be a lot harder on me. And I also feel that it's her responsibility, it's her child. I just want to be a grandmother.
How old was Andre when you were first deployed?
He was just a year old.
Okay. All right. And so, may I ask why you brought your sister along as well?
Well, she lives really close to my mother, and since she's younger and her health is better, I was kind of contemplating whether she could watch him sometimes or at least help out with child care. She has a full-time job, so she definitely would help out if she needed to, so I wasn't sure.
What are some of your thoughts regarding that?
I mean, I've watched him plenty of times before, like, she wants to go out with her friends or go out on a Saturday night, whatever. And that's fine. I am concerned about taking care of him long term. Makes me feel a little overwhelmed. On one hand, I feel like bad for my mom. She can't really take care of him. But on the other hand, I do have a full-time job, and I'm not really ready to be a mom. And I'm concerned, you know, if something happens to my sister, that I'm going to have to take care and become a mom, and I'm not ready for that.
So I hear among all of you that you are all concerned about his well-being, and it's a valid concern. May I ask who else is involved in Andre's life? Like neighbors, family, friends?
There's really nobody else that, at least I would trust to, take care of him. And the issue is that I feel like it's a burden to them. I don't really have any other choice, and like you said, there's really nobody else that I trust to watch him. And I felt like I'd be able to rely on my family to help me out, but it's not like I'm going out to party with my friends, like I'm overseas and I'm working, and it's just frustrating to me.
Yeah, it sounds like you're feeling torn between your job, you do have to be deployed, but also you're concerned over who's going to care for your son, and you know who you would like to, but there's also that tension that they may not be able to care for them. Have you asked your mom if possibly she could care for him, even though with her lung condition, if your sister could step in and help supplement that? Have you guys discussed how that might possibly look?
Not really. We haven't talked about that.
Are you completely opposed to caring for Andre, or is it just something that because of your lung condition you want the best for him and you're not sure if you can keep up, like you mentioned?
I, of course, will not take care of him because he's my grandchild, and I won't let him not be taken care of. But I'm bitter, I suppose. I don't think she's making the best choices, even with her career. I don't think she should have had a child and been single and been in the military to where she had to leave him. I don't feel like it's best for him, and she's not thinking about his well-being with her choices.
It sounds like you're feeling a little bit of resentment that she is asking you to do this and you take care of him daily, correct?
Yes.
When you've already had this responsibility, but this is an even greater responsibility because this is full-time while she's gone possibly up to a year. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. And I don't feel like it's fair to her little sister to have to care for him either. She has her own life and should be able to have her own life and not be burdened with her sister's child.
What are some of your thoughts in regard to that response?
I just feel like there's nothing we can do now. He's here, and I wouldn't change that. At the same time, like, I'm doing what's best to provide for my family. And I know the situation's not ideal, but she takes the best care of him. At the same time, she's been watching him since he was born practically, and I don't like that he, like, sometimes would rather go to her, or like that he views her as his mom, especially if, I mean, there's no other choice for me, so it's just hard.
Mm-hmm. What would you say your relationship is like with Andre? And this applies to all of you. Why don't you go first?
I mean, we have lots of fun. We play together. I love watching him grow up, but I feel like I'm more of like an aunt or something instead of I feel like he looks to her as his like mother figure because she's the one that's been with him most consistently.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like you might feel like you're missing out a little bit, and especially since you're going to be deployed, and he already kind of views your mother as his mother, that you kind of feel like you're missing out on that aspect of his life. Would you say that's true? Yeah. What would you say your relationship is like with Andre?
I feel like I've been forced into the mother role. I don't get to be a grandmother. I have to be his parent. I don't get the joy of just spoiling him and being his grandma. I'm his mom.
It sounds like you're feeling a little bit more than frustrated, but also stuck kind of in your role. And what about you, Olivia? What is your relationship like with Andre?
I mean, I help out my mom as much as I can when my sister's gone, and I, try to pick him up, and mostly for overnight visits and things like that. So I feel like I am a big part of his life, but definitely not like a disciplinarian. I'm just like, hey, let's come over, let's have a good time, and let's send you back to grandma. I mean, I'm not really, I guess, in that aspect is definitely not a mother figure, but I feel like in a lot of ways I've been more a part of his life than what my sister's been able to. And sometimes I feel like I'm stuck in the middle of them.